Ooh, Kitty! I am here with Stephanie, our most recently evicted house guest, and Brazil, and Corey, who is filling in for Nicole. And we're all going to dish the dirt on Extra Whip now on Big Brother Cheesecake 7, Chocolate Heaven. Hello, I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake 7, Chocolate Heaven. It's day 39 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house. And this week, Michael is the head of household. He nominated Kilby for eviction, and Kennedy was an initial nominee for getting the yellow M&M and the Lindor sampler, the last of the bad Lindors. And Willy Wonka nominated
Javier.
Yes, for eviction. I was testing you there.
I didn't know who you wanted to answer there.
No. But the Golden Power Veto can still change the nominations. Who will win it? We'll find out tomorrow. But first, I'm joined with Stephanie, who was evicted in the double eviction, where everybody was so upset to see you go. Cly was, of course, invited to be here. She really should have used the internet excuse. I don't know why she didn't just say I'm with Rogers and I can't connect. That would have been the easy thing to do. And with side note, for the first time in my life, I'm happy I'm with Bell and not Rogers, because normally Bell sucks. And today Bell's been perfect. And 3/4 of Canada doesn't have any internet or TV or ability to pay on credit cards or anything. And my mother, I don't know what she's doing today. All she does, she's an old lady and she just watches YouTube and TV all day. She's probably driving herself crazy. She's completely Rogers. Like every service she has is Rogers. She is totally fucked. I tried to message Kat to call her a cunt today, and she couldn't answer because she has no phone either. But yeah, so the internet is down in Canada. Typical. And where was I going with this? Oh, so Cly should have used that excuse. She did not. She instead said that she was getting drunk for her birthday with her friends in a ditch somewhere. So
that's a decent excuse.
I mean, I love Cly, and I was fine with all her excuses all season long, but I was kind of expecting her to show up to this. This is like the last thing she had to do. She could have been like totally sassy. She could have said whatever the hell she wanted. There were no rules. Which is the way she lives her life, and she did not. So a little disappointing, but oh well, what can you do? Stephanie was not surprised.
No. I was gonna say, if she showed up, this is the first conversation I've had with you, and just let it be that. But she didn't show up.
So Stephanie, what do you think? How are you feeling? What do you think went wrong?
I feel fine. Okay. I feel fine. I mean, today I feel fine. I was not very happy about it Wednesday. But I did kind of see the writing on the wall a little bit, probably Tuesday. You said, what did I go wrong or what did I think happened?
Yeah.
I think that I'll say that I had a very solid alliance of people, and I can't wait till everyone knows who they all are. I'm not telling you, but I think that they are probably the best human beings ever, and so I'm really appreciative that I met them. And I do think that we trusted each other, and that we probably trusted maybe a couple of people we shouldn't have. And so yeah, it is. I mean, it happens, and I'm a little bit too honest, so.
That's what I said in your goodbye speech to you. You're just like me. Yeah, you're too loyal. And when the cards don't go your way and when the power doesn't come your way, then the people are like, well, she's loyal to other people, not us. So, and
so I'll say that in that endurance HOH, when it was down to the final 4, and I was one of them, and I offered everyone safety if I was HOH, I did that knowing that this does not make me comfortable with who is left.
Wait, would you
Not make me
actually have
comfortable.
stuck to that?
Yeah, I said that in the chat as the comp was happening when it was down to us four. I was like, y'all will all be safe if I'm HOH. Like, can we make some deals here? And like, no, like whenever. So I think Brooke actually maybe thought about it for a half second, but the other two, when they didn't, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is not gonna go well for me.
Okay, sorry.
This is
So
not gonna go well.
I missed what you were referring to. You're referring to, you were in the HOH. It was you, Brooke, Bridget, and Kilby were the four left at that point. And yeah, you offered a deal to keep them safe if they let you have it, I think was the offer. You just offered to keep each other safe, I think.
Basically,
regardless of who wins. And basically, I think, I forgot which one, but one of them said, thank you. I think Kilby said, thank you. And which basically means no. And Bridget, I think, ignored you. And Bridget said, I can't do it because she referenced Eric from Micronesia. And I think Brooke was the one that just changed the subject. So they basically said no, which, like you said, was very telling. And they all, that was very telling because they all afterwards discussed that moment as I'm sure you expected. You mentioned that you're not going to reveal your lines. Obviously, I don't expect you to. I do think most of the house kind of knows who's on what side. I don't think it's a real secret. Kilby today tried to pretend when I called him in the episode yesterday, I called him pro Ronnie. And then in the group chat today, he goes, I don't even know Ronnie. I don't even talk to him. And I'm like, that's such a pro Ronnie thing to say, Kilby. Those names are not based on Ronnie. It's just based on what happened that week that created the crack where half the house was pissed that Ronnie lied and the other half didn't care. And that's what created the two sides. And even though the sides aren't clear cut, they're clear cut
now.
Yeah.
They're clear cut now.
So you received 3 votes against. Do you want to take, which was less than Clive, so you finished in 11th place instead of 12th. Do you want to take a crack at who those 3 votes were?
Bridget, Callum, and Javier.
No, that's all I'm going to say.
Huh?
No, that's not the right combination. And we're not going to, because it was a messy vote, I'm not going to dive too deep into it because there was a lot more to it than that. But but to be brief, no. You also, before I get to the other, I know Brazil knows what I'm talking about, but wait, I have to not say it on the episode. You also had the dark blue color set, which you did mention to me in Diary Room was one of the reasons why at least one person was voting against you because they wanted Park Place and Boardwalk. That person's clearly not going to get it because like, I'm voting to evict you because of your Monopoly pieces. P.S. Give them to me. I love you. So
they didn't say exactly that they were voting against me because of that, but what they said was, so I had one person say, Steph, I don't know why we would be evicting you over Owen. It makes no sense. But I've heard something about these Monopoly pieces, which I forgot about, by the way. And I was like, oh, the ones that Tom left me? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, how does that get comp even work? Like, what does that mean? Like, what do these pieces mean? I've never watched the show, so I have no idea. And so they were like, oh, and so they told me. So I kind of slid that into conversation with a couple of different other people to kind of fill out what that was about. And they both told me, oh, yeah, that's being very openly discussed. And I was like, oh, so y'all are going to evict the person that can't win comps and keep the person that can. Oh, I see. Y'all dumb.
I will say dark blue doesn't necessarily mean anything. I made it. I was in Monopoly last year. I only had dark blue and I didn't even survive one turn of the board.
Okay.
I'm bringing up the stats now, as you mentioned that, because I love Monopoly. So dark blue is interesting because, yes, it's the most expensive, but there's only 2 of them because it's that luxury tax thing. So that really reduces the odds. So it really comes down to whether or not they're landed on. And I'm just bringing it up now. So dark blue, Debbie in season 1 didn't win. Chanel in season 2 didn't win. JoJo season 3 did win. Brazil season 4 did not win, barely.
Almost did.
Yeah. JoJo in season 5, that was all he had, and he won with that. And then Corey last season did not. So only 2 out of 6, both JoJo. So 1 out of every 3 won with dark blue. So 33%, not sensational.
Yeah.
But now you get to bequeath the dark blue color sets to the house guests of your choice. And I bet you this feels so good right now.
You know.
I love this part.
I mean, so you mean do it now?
Yeah.
So I thought about it and I was like, man, the track record of these is not good. Tom gave it to me. Now I'm gone, and do I want to give it to somebody that I actually like? You know, I went back and forth with that for about a day. And I just kind of came to the conclusion that the sides of the house are way too defined for me to take a gamble. So I'm going to give them to Owen.
Okay. That is what I thought you would do. Because
and about that, I'll just say a little bit why. First of all, he survived the double eviction, and I think that he needs them. He needs it, and also like he's one of the most amazing people I know. So.
Aww, that's so sweet.
Yeah,
his partner is one lucky bitch.
Yeah,
that's what I expected you to do. That's what I
yes,
expected. Yeah, that's what I expected you to do because he has none and he was your ally. So I kind of figured that was the way you were going to go. You sure you don't want to give him to Kilby?
No, I'm very sure. I'm very sure. You know, and I think I think that about Kilby, like I don't dislike him, but like, so you know, I'm a very honest person, and so Kilby, we've been talking since like, I mean, he was AWOL for the first week, and then he comes in, and after about 3 days, he's all ingratiated into the house, and I'm telling my allies like, we got to get rid of Kilby like now. Because his social game is too good to be gone for a week and suddenly now he has allies. And because he was nominated the first week, and I tried to get him out. I did. And I did vote to evict him the first week. So I guess it's revenge a little bit. But his conversations, I don't know how he has a good social game. I don't know how he has allies. It was terrible. Like, what kind of music do you like? I mean, okay. I mean, I guess. Like, I was talking about music, and then he was trying to talk about rap music with me, and I was just like, this is boring. I'm moving on.
Out of the blue, he brought up rap.
I mean, he was trying. So he asked me what kind of music I liked, and I was like, oh, I'm into it. Like I'm an R&B type of person. You know, I do like some country music. Oh, like what kind of rap music do you like? I'm like, I mean, do you like? And then he started naming like Biggie, Tupac. I'm like, I mean, I guess, but like. Anyway, so that was weird. That was weird to me. So I was like,
yeah, you did vote against Kilby week 1. Was any particular just because he was AWOL? Because Shawnee was AWOL too.
It was that he was AWOL, but it was that he came back from being AWOL after being gone for like 3 or 4 days, and he was able to like just like act like it became like he was never gone to the house. And I'm like, his social game must be really good because he was gone and now he has like allies and people are talking to him like they know him. So that's a red flag to me.
Okay.
Fair.
You were going to say something, Brazil?
No, I said that's fair. A fair reason to want someone out.
There was something else I wanted to say about Kilby. Crap. What was it going to be?
Do you want to think about it? I have a question.
Okay, go ahead. I remembered, but go ahead.
So it's funny you were mentioning the Monopoly piece strategy you were sort of thinking about, because there was a couple of us, obviously, you know, the Dick at Night connection and that, a couple of the video mailbaggers talk that have played before. And there was a part of us that wanted to go to Tom and say, do not give them to Stephanie. Don't do it. Like, because that's what we were worried about. We were worried that they would put a target on you because of the pieces. Because that's the thing about Big Brother Cheesecake is anyone will find one little reason to be like, oh, there you go. That's a reason to put them up. So
that's any org.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've only played the one, so this is the only reference I have.
Can I say about Tom real quick? That the day the cast was announced, Tom and I, we don't know each other really, but I'm on Dick and Night, and so he's a video mailbagger, so we know who each other are. And so like the day the cast was announced, me and Tom are DMing on Twitter, He's like, yo, so what's up? And we're just kind of talking. I'm like, so I'm like, I don't know anybody, Tom, except for I kind of knowing you. Yep, me either. I was like, he was like, I was like, I guess we better work together then, huh? He was like, yep, guess we better protect each other. And so me and Tom were the dopaminers, right? And we were just gonna protect each other. And so when Tom had that very shaky HOH where people were kind of like, oh man, what's going through Tom's mind? I'm like, you'll never know. Like, I don't know why you never know. Like, I don't know, and I'm the only person he came into the game kind of knowing. I have no clue. And
Tom
so
didn't even know.
And so I went to Tom and I was like, when he was HOH, I'm like, do I need to campaign to you? Like, I'm so confused. and I was like, I mean, and it was just really kind of interesting. But but when Tom was evicted, Tom was almost evicted the week before that actually. And I did kind of try hard not to let that happen, and it didn't. And then when he was nominated the next week, I was like, I gotta kind of go with the flow on this one. I didn't evict him. I didn't vote for him, but I kind of had to go with the flow. And so I'm like, I know he's gonna give me these pieces. I know it. And I know that that's gonna backfire on me in some way. And I don't even know why. But we did talk about it, he and I, and before he did it. And so yeah, maybe he shouldn't have. I don't know.
So when he was HOH, he did not tell you who he was nominating either time?
No.
Wow.
No. I didn't.
Only ally. You were the only ally he had. And he
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was nominating.
Did you try Did you try to influence him to pick somebody or no?
Well, I tried to open up the door for the conversation, and then like, I mean, he just wasn't really like giving me anything. And so I was like, well, look, like, I don't really know him very well. And so I'm not going to put myself into a position where suddenly I become a target. So I'm just going to kind of let Tom do Tom and Tom be Tom. And that's what I did.
You would have never been a target. Tom, from what I know, he had you 100%, but
I had him
you describing it is like, it is the most Tom thing I've ever heard. Like,
so I asked Tom, well, because he DM'd me and asked me if I picked a chocolate apple in the group chat. And I was like, yeah, I did. And so I'm like, Tom, are you really using the apples to choose? Like, and I mean, I think he was just kind of like, he liked the fact that nobody really knew what he was doing. And I just think that maybe he played it on his overhand, played it a little bit too far, because the house chat has been dead since he left. It has been dead. He gave all the entertainment was Tom.
I would agree that the entertainment value has gone down since he left. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my question from before. Do you think that Kilby needs to win the veto coming up?
Oh, he better, or he gonna be gone.
So that would be a yes. He does need to
he
win.
Better. He better. He better. I mean, I guess, I guess for Kilby, I mean, I'm a very honest person, and like, I knew Kilby was nominating me a day, 24 hours before he did it. After he won HOH, me and Kilby talked all through the HOH comp, and then after he won HOH, we're talking about vacations. He was leaving to go to Vegas. He wants to go on a cruise. I told him how much I love cruising. Like, we were talking about how to plan that, and then when I asked a game question, he like ghosted me. And I was like, okay. Then he came back and he's like, oh, I was just packing, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. So then we were talking again and he ghosted me again when I brought up game again. And so I went to Owen, I think, and I was like, yeah, Kilby's definitely nominating me. Definitely. Like, he never talked game with me or heard me out after the HOH comp was over.
So even though you were evicted, which I know sucks, do you think he made the right move last week? And if not, what should he have done? Because he had to nominate 3 people.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. I want to say no, like, that I would have been loyal, because no, I wouldn't have. I want to say that, but no, he did. He did.
Because when he nominated the 3 of you, I expected a firestorm of drama in the group chat, and it did not happen. And that's when I kind of knew that all three of the nominees kind of knew it was coming because they were probably targeting him. I mean, it was a pro Ronnie putting up 3 anti Ronnies.
So can I be honest and say though, I wasn't gonna nominate him if I won HOH. I wasn't gonna do it, and because I felt like that there were people in the game that were barely active enough to be in the game, and I felt like we really should get rid of them because they shouldn't be on jury. And so I actually wasn't going to nominate him, but he made the right move for his own game, like long term. But I wasn't going to nominate him.
I will admit at the beginning of the episode when I said Willy Wonka nominated and I like pretended to test you that I just totally forgot that it was Javier. Like I was just like, thank God Brazil chimed in because I would have been like, oh.
So I have a question for Stephanie about that.
Sure.
So I don't really know who's on what side. I kind of have a few ideas of who's where, but since Javier is the Wonka vote, do you think that Wonka is from the Kilby side?
The pro Ronnie side.
The pro Ronnie side, yeah.
I'm not letting that die. Doesn't matter how long Ronnie's been out of the game.
So I'm pretty sure I know who Wonka is. I think that Javier was nominated to cover their own ass. That's what I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And who do you think Wonka is? I'm not going to say yes or no.
I think Wonka's Rayanne.
Okay.
And so yeah, I think
That's not who I voted for, but
I mean I can't vote, and that's not who I would have voted for either. Sorry, Rayanne.
Corey did vote for Stephanie, I think, every single week. So
because he has great taste.
Yeah. Let me double check.
It wasn't every single week, but it got to a point where
you're right. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't every single week, but it was multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, and I do think that it's kind of gotten to the point. I really believe that sometimes you have double evictions where just like the easy people are already voted out and that, and that's just that. But, I think this double eviction was really hard. It was hard for me personally because like, I mean, like, I felt like if they kept Clyde, they were dumb anyways. And, but when it comes to Owen, like trying to figure out a way to campaign against Owen without campaigning against Owen was very hard.
Yeah. I've been in that spot where you're up against your ally and you do meet really cool people through this game. I'm still friends with people that I met in my season 2 years ago and we still talk. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's hard.
It's very hard. It's very hard. And I do think that we both threaded that line as fine as we could. Mm-hmm. And I do think they kept the stronger player. I think that comp wise he's stronger. I think socially wise I was stronger, but I do think they kept the stronger player and they might regret it later on. But I'm happy he's there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree. You are definitely strong socially and strategically. I think Owen is probably slightly stronger. So in that regard, maybe they made a mistake keeping him. But of course, we'll never know. What I did want to ask you, oh yeah, so you were on Team Nicole. So Team Nicole loses a member, which means Crisil didn't catch up much because Crisil also lost Clyde, but that wasn't really much of a loss. So Team Crisil has Rayanne, Bridget, Michael, Javier. Nicole has Jenna, Owen, Brooke, Kilby, Callum, Kennedy. Who has the stronger team?
Nicole.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. She had the stronger team the day the draft happened.
Yeah.
I didn't draft my team.
I mean, in fairness, Curtis did it for Brazil. Curtis was just basing it on like Ogopogos and stuff. And what's his reason? He had weird reasons.
I thought it was like the names he liked or something like that.
Yeah. Not that Brazil did that last season too.
I did, but yeah. I didn't know anything about anyone playing, so I didn't want to put a target on anyone's back too. Like I knew I think last season I knew Corey, you were Dick at Night. I didn't want to put a target on your back, so I let Nicole do that. So I don't know. So I just tried to have fun with it, but
I will say that I do love how all of you tried to skirt all season long that y'all knew who I was, and that you might be rooting for me. I appreciate that. But it got to the point to where I had to be honest with my alliance about Dick and Knight, and then I was just honest with I think I told everyone in the house like the day the vote happened to evict, or the night before, just because like I didn't want them like, oh well, she lied to us, like she knows all these people. People know me that I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I did to all of them.
I remember when
Dick and Night is fun.
I remember when I first met Kat and became friends with her. It was at a Red Lobster. She just had a vagina rejuvenation surgery, and she came in with like an IV bag, and she was like walking along. And I thought that because she was so well connected in the Big Brother community that I was going to meet all these people. And she kept talking about how Cindy with an S and John party, they come over for Thanksgiving, and she hangs out with Netta and this, that, and the other. I did not meet a single Big Brother Canada or US alum through her. Not one. Rai is probably the one exception. But Rai.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you before we wrap up, who do you think is going to win the game, and who do you want to see win the game?
Yeah, everyone's favorite question.
So I think that Michael might win. But I want Owen to win. I do want Owen to win. So and I feel bad because like to my alliance members watching this, like I'm not talking about all of you because like, you know, I don't really want to just put all the information out there, but I love all of you. And like there's 2 people specifically whose names I have not mentioned in this show, but I love you too. But I would just say from day one, there's one person in the game that has my phone number. Well, there's 2 people in the game that have my phone number, and I just said both of their names. Like they're great people, and I think they're gonna do well against the other side of the house. So yeah.
It's funny you said Owen, because when I did this with Brazil last time, Andrew asked us, and I had said, "Oh, I thought Owen had a good chance too."
I think he's amazing, and I think that I think if you're smart, you would want him to be your ally. and so I do hope that the game becomes. I mean, I do hope that the game. I want the people that I want to win, obviously, but I hope that it becomes really entertaining with them going back and forth against each other, trying to take each other out. Yeah.
I don't want to put a target on his back, but the 2 of you already said it. Owen was the person I thought would win the season 2 preseason, so that's what 3 of us.
Oh no!
So
you just said that because you just said that because you think he's cute.
No, there is a reason why I said that. I'm not gonna say why I said that, but I will say that later in the season.
From the little I've seen of him, he just seems like he's got that personality that just attracts people to him. Like it just, like even his. Well, both your guys' videos were amazing for the little kitchen of horrors or whatever the election or whatever you're calling it. But like yours and Owen's I thought had the best production value, and Owen with his subliminal messages and that, I was dying.
So he and I were talking about this comp, and he's like, man, he said one of us is doing this, and we're not even gonna be here. Like we're not even gonna be here. And I was like, I know, and this sucks so bad. And then he's like, man, you got 2 votes. Like I could have been the person that won HOH, but I was evicted the day before. So like, or this same day. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. We had fun with it. It was like our last hurrah. I told Owen, I said, I'm never playing org again. I'm just letting you know. I'm never doing it again. The only reason why
you did say that in the group chat, and a lot of people, is this your first like major one? I know you played some Twitter games, but I think those were all pretty basic. This is your first like big leagues, right? And a lot of people, like there's people like Brooke, who last season was like, I want to play every single time, every single season. I want to play. And I'm like that too. I've played 33 orgs in the last 2 years. I'm wacko. And then there's people like you who after one, they're like, I'm one and done. So how come? Like, I know it's not a criticism on me. It's just how come you feel that way?
Well, I think that for one, I always knew that I would never be a good Big Brother player because I don't bullshit very well. And so if I like you, you know it, and if I don't, if I don't, you know it too. And that's not just with Big Brother, that's in my real life. And so I do think, even in my eviction speech when I was campaigning to stay, I said, you know, if I'm loyal to you, you know it, and if I'm not, you also know it. And so I guess I just would have to change so much about who I am and try to keep up with being someone I'm not to play a game again.
Yeah, and that's totally fair.
I mean, I think it's doable for me. Because I have the strategy in the social game, but man, that sounds exhausting.
I do think too, what maybe made you a bit more of a threat than Owen, and just kind of came to me, is you were definitely somebody who, if you got to the end, you were going to get the votes to win. And even though, how do I put this? Owen, I think, has a bigger target on his back. So people might have left Owen thinking, well, he has such a big target, he's going to go. Stephanie's target isn't so big that this is our chance. We might not get another chance at Stephanie, whereas Owen might be nominated a lot. Possibly.
I do agree with that. But, and also I think, you know, people try to find reasons to nominate people when you don't have one. And so I think that in a week where the HOH had to nominate 3 people, I mean, if you had a reason for 2, did you really need a reason for the 3rd person? And so I do think that it would have been a little bit harder when the HOH only had to nominate 2 people to do it. I expected to be a Willy Wonka target from the start. And when I never was, I was like, oh, okay, the social game might be working for me a little bit.
Yeah,
and
a lot of the Willy Wonka choices this season have been weird, have not been like, that's the opportunity to get sort of the wild cards out or a big threat out, and people seem to be using it to just put like the little fleck off the, you know, on your belly button lint on the block. So I don't know. Not that those people are belly button lint. I just came up with that. I lint. I thought of lint chocolate. That's why the reference came.
Yeah.
Of course, now what I was going to say, I totally lost my train of thought. Hopefully I'll get it back. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up? Because we're running short on time.
Oh, thank you for casting me and letting me play. I'll be a fan. I don't know if you can be able to convince me to play again. You could try, but I don't know if you could convince me to do it. Now
I remember what I was going to say. Sorry, I remember what I was going to say. Kilby should have just said, I'm nominating the 3 of you because I feel least connected to you strategically in the game, period. Instead, he kind of came up with, like, I don't want to say insulting, but it was kind of like, it was a bit on the harsh side, in my opinion, a little bit. It
definitely lacked any type of like social prowess. I mean, like he is I've never met anyone with a duller personality in my life except for the people I've never talked to.
Well, that's a great way to end it. On that note, and should we end on that, or is there anything else you want to say?
I know that sounds harsh, but like I'm just saying, like, don't. And as I said, I think I said to him, you know, one-on-one after you put out the reasons why he nominated people, like I went off on him. Like I didn't do it in the chat, but I went off in our one-on-one. Like, and I think I even said in the chat, like, you know, this is bullshit. Like you didn't even respond to me or something like that. But like, don't come up here talking about some like lack of connection here when your ass can't even respond.
And you had a great time, and you're so thankful for me to playing. And on that note, who will win the golden power of veto? Find out tomorrow. And will they use it to save Javier, Kilby, or Kennedy? I remembered Javier there. On Monday, the golden power veto ceremony. Find out then. Tuesday, the final 3 nominees plead their case. And Wednesday is the next live eviction and head of household competition where another house guest will be evicted from the Big Brother Cheesecake 7 house, get a tummy ache from eating too much chocolate, and lose their shot at the $700 cash prize. I'm Andrew Chef Best. Take care, and remember, Andy's no dinner at Olive Garden is complete without Andy's creme de menthe. Good night.